Hey everyone, it's Justin and welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to share a fun DIY challenge with you today. I'm taking part in Courtney from Creative on the Cheap's DIY Mystery Box Challenge with an amazing group of DIYers. The challenge was to send another DIYer a box full of goodies in the $15 to $20 range. I sent my box to Kristen K and I am so excited to see what she does with those items, so make sure you check out her video. I cannot wait to see what's in this box. So the challenge was to pick materials from any type of store. The only thing is it had to include 2 mystery items that are kind of tricky to DIY with. And the other twist this month is to add popsicle sticks in. So I'm kind of excited to see how to incorporate those in. I haven't peeked at this box at all. I'm super excited to see what's in it. I got it from Jennifer at a little bit of Calm and Crazy, and I hope she was really nice to me. So let's see what's in the box. Okay, so I switched around the camera so you could get a better angle and see everything. Look at how cute, a little card, Justin. I'm so excited to see what you create. You always make the most beautiful things, Jennifer. These candies are so good, Dollar Tree only has them when they stock Easter candy. Russell Stover Lemon Pucker, lemon candy with a sour kick. These look super yummy. I love sour things, so I can't wait to have these. I'm gonna have these when I do projects. All right, so we have our first challenge item. I'm gonna save these, and then the second one, I'm gonna save these till the end. May the odds be in your favor. I hope so. All right, so first, Just Yarn. I think this is actually a Dollar Tree one. I have some that are similar, just not this shade. I really like this color, so that's gonna be fun to play with. Some of these wood snakes. I have some of these. I have yet to use them in a DIY yet. So these will be fun to play around. I've seen where people have made handles or wrap them around the bottom of candles, and they look super cute, so I can't wait to play around with these. We have one of these welcome wreaths. I think this is from the Dollar Tree. I'm not sure, but they're super cute. I've seen these a couple places. We have a wood shelf. $5.99. She must have got it thrifting. I love wood items because you can sand them, stain them, paint them, however you'd like. This is going to be fun to play around with. We have some wood beads, super cute. Then we have these wreath rings, which I don't have any of these, and I don't know if you can see them or not, but they're really, really cute. I can't wait to play around with these. I've seen so many different wreaths and things like that that people have made. Super cute. Can't wait to do something with those. Let's see. A wood circle plaque. Oh, this will be fun to play with. You can stain it or you can paint it. We have a canvas from the Dollar Tree. I recognize this. And we also have this shadow box. She must have got this thrifting for $1.99, but I have one of these that I just bought actually from Michael's, and it was a little bit more than that. So this is good. I like this frame, so this will be fun to play around with. So now to open our challenge items. Let's open challenge item number 1. Look at how cute she wrapped these. They are doilies. These are going to be fun to play with. This isn't something I normally use in DIYs, but I'm sure I can come up with something. Thank you, Jennifer. And then I have challenge item number 2. All right, let's see. This is... What is this? It's a dinosaur hook. Okay, that's super cute. I don't know what I'm going to do with that yet, but gotta figure out something. So thank you, Jennifer. Can't wait to figure out what to do with all of these items. I'll put them all back in front so you can see them, and I'll pan over them. Okay, so for this first project, I thought it'd be really cool to use one of these canvases from the Dollar Tree. I actually saw this on the Dollar Tree's website where you can cut the canvas off and use the insides as a frame. So now once I've gone around the edges with my X-Acto knife, I'm just gonna go ahead and start peeling the canvas off. Now using a pair of scissors, I just cut off the excess. Once you have the canvas smooth, what we're going to do is take a little bit of this lightweight spackling and also this white acrylic paint from the Dollar Tree. And we're going to mix those together and use the doily as a stencil and stencil the pattern onto the canvas. And I just used a little bit of paint for this. You don't want it to be super runny, you want it to be more of a paste consistency. And then using a regular paintbrush, I just kind of pressed it into each one of those holes. One tip I do have is to start off with a larger amount, and it's much easier to spread all over and get into each one of those tiny little holes. I let that sit for a couple seconds and then I peeled away the doily. Now if you have any parts that have bled through too much, you can just go back in with the end of a paintbrush and kind of etch those out. Also, the wood on the frame is a little rough, so I just took my sanding block and gave it a light sanding. Once the canvas is dried, we're going to add it to the back of the frame. You could definitely use hot glue for this, but I decided to use my staple gun just to get it nice and taut. And I realized after I put it together, I probably should have started off by cutting the canvas to the same size, but I didn't, so I ended up using my X-Acto knife and I just removed the excess. I love the way this canvas project came out. What I love about this project is that you could add paint in and really change the design, really make it fit any different type of decor. I ended up making 2 of them and I love them paired together. I just think it looks so cool. For this next project, I decided to take the shadow box and turn it into a tray. I did a project similar to this last year using popsicle sticks, and I thought it would be cool to try again. I bought these popsicle sticks from Michael's. I believe this box is $4.99 for these larger ones, and what I'm going to do is take those and cut them down and use them to almost tile the inside of the shadow box. To cut the popsicle sticks down, I used a heavy-duty pair of scissors and just cut off the ends. I wasn't sure how many popsicle sticks the project would take, so I started off by cutting around 20 some. That way I had a good amount to start with. Once I had the popsicle sticks all cut, I removed the back of the shadow box, and that's what I'm going to be attaching them to. And for this project, I used my larger hot glue gun that Surebonder sent me. I thought it'd be kind of fun to try out. It works really, really well, but you could definitely just use a regular one for this project. So once I had the glue down, I just went ahead, grabbed the popsicle sticks and stuck them on. You want to hold them for a couple seconds to make sure that they're secure. And I'll speed up this whole next part, but you can kind of see I went back and forth with the popsicle sticks just to give it a little variation. You can kind of see with the pattern that I was going in the direction of almost making it look like a wood flooring. Now to cover the sides, I just used a couple smaller pieces that I cut into different lengths. And for the bottom, there was a little bit of a gap, so I just used some of the regular popsicle sticks that I had to fill in the gap. And to trim the ends, I just used those same pair of scissors and cut off the excess. And using a sanding block, I smoothed out the edges. Once I had the back of the shadow box completely covered, I used this lightweight spackling from the Dollar Tree to fill in the gaps. This spackling is so easy to use. I just rubbed it in with my finger in between each one of the little boards, and it dries pretty fast as well, so I went through with a paper towel and kind of wiped as I went. And once I had it completely covered, I just went back in with a little bit of the spackling to fill in the little gaps. And you can see I left a little bit of spackling on the front of it because I kind of wanted it to have like an aged, worn look. And now to use these little snakes, I've seen so many different projects using these. I decided to use them as handles, and all I'm gonna do is take that X-Acto knife that I used before and cut them into sections and use 2 of those as the handles. And I wanted to give them a little bit more of a polished look, so I took that same spackling as before and went in between each one of the little cuts on the wood. Once I had both of the handles completely covered, I let those dry for a couple hours. To seal the wood, I used this Varda stain from IKEA. I love this. I've used it a few times and it dries completely clear with a little bit of a sheen and really gives it a nice finished effect. I also gave the handles a couple coats of this Varda stain. It really helped to make them a little bit more sturdy as well. So once I had everything coated in a couple coats of that stain, I'm going to take the frame and give it an all-over coat of this farmhouse black. So once the frame and the wood pieces have completely dried, I put them back together, and I'm going to be attaching the handles using this E6000 glue. The E6000 glue will really help them to adhere to the frame, but they are going to be more decorative. I just thought it would add a nice detail. And now once the handles are set in place, I used a little paper towel and went around the edges and wiped the excess glue. And once the handles have dried, the tray is complete. I love the way this looks. It kind of gives me like a modern beachy vibe, and I was so happy that I was able to use the popsicle sticks in such a neat way. And now for the third project. I wanted to use this little wood plaque and the wood beads that Jennifer sent me. I thought it'd be really cool to make a little plant stand, simple yet effective. To start, I hot glued the wood beads to the bottom of the wood plaque all the way around the outside. Once I had the beads glued to the wood plaque, I thought it'd actually be cool to take that bowl and use it as a base, so I just hot glued the plaque onto the bowl. And I held the plaque in place for a couple seconds to allow it to dry. So I included these next clips so you could see that every DIY doesn't work out exactly as planned. I thought it would be cool to give this an all-over coat of black spray paint. So I used this Satin black spray paint, and then next I sprayed it with this textured spray, and as soon as I started spraying it, I knew something was wrong. You'll see in a second exactly what I mean. I think it was probably the spray paint that I chose to use. I was just trying to use things that I had on hand, and as you can see, it dried and it cracked and it just ended up so terrible looking. So I actually wiped all of that off, well, as much as I could, and I decided to go another route. I didn't want to give up on this DIY, so I knew I had to figure out a way to cover this. I was watching the Sorry Girls Thrift Flip Challenge with Drew from At Lone Fox the other day, and they actually used sand mixed in with their paint, and I thought that that would be a great way to kind of cover all of these rough edges and just give it a cool texture. If you watched the video where I did the Extreme Craft Room makeover, I had a little bit of this black paint left from the wall, so I just threw the sand in and gave this an all-over coat, just really hoping that something worked for this DIY. The one thing I will say about this paint technique as opposed to using baking soda is that it gives it a really grainy texture, which is originally what I was kind of going for with the textured spray paint. And I also love that you can kind of get the highs and lows with it, which you can see here. And once this dried, I love the way it came out. I think it looks pretty cool, and I think you could mix so many different colors with it. I can't wait to try this on other projects, but for now, I definitely think it helped save this DIY. Okay, so a lot of people don't know this about me, but I love dinosaurs, and I think that probably comes from watching Jurassic Park a million times. For this little dinosaur head hook, I decided to give it a coat of the Satin bronze from Rust-Oleum. I love this color. I used it in the last video. I actually wanted to keep this hook exactly the way it is because I love a quirky little accent. And using the same tip that I shared in the last video, an easy way to spray paint screws is to just add them into a piece of cardboard. That way they're not rolling all over and you can give them a nice coat of paint. And once those dried, I thought it'd be perfect to add this into my craft room. The satin bronze is a perfect accent in front of this black wall. I think this is so cute. And now I have a perfect little hook for hanging all of my extra craft materials. Thank you all for watching, and thank you, Jennifer, for sending me the box and also those super yummy treats. I definitely had a fun time with these projects. As you can see, I didn't use everything in the box, and I wanted to share a fun little DIY that I was working on. It was this popsicle chandelier, and I was so excited about it, but I just couldn't get it to work out, and that's okay, because I wanted to share that sometimes DIYs don't work out. I think every crafter knows exactly what I mean. If you'd like to see more of my DIY fails, let me know in the comments. I definitely have plenty of them. And on another note, if you did like today's video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. You can also follow me on Instagram at Justin Ray. Ray is spelled with a W-R-A-Y. Thank you for watching.